Yo, 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 we are back. We are the NRW, where we always give you the NEW, where nerds rule the world. That's right. And we are also the nerds of color because, you know, we fly. We got that melanin popping off. I am Kuya P, and I got the cat that really had that melanin popping off on my left side or right side. I don't know. We're living in the virtual world. My brother, Glenn Lawrence. How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. It is good to be back. Happy to see all you nerds out there, and really excited to go back to Utopia.
Yes, yes. However, we are missing our buddy Loy. He is the part of our team when we do this. We are all watching the show, but Loy is handling things in Las Vegas. He's actually literally moving at the moment. Still going to be in Vegas, but he's moving things around. And when he is back, he will join us. But he sends his loves to you, Glenn, and he misses us. And we'll be back with hopefully the next episode. So ready to do episode 3, my brother. You know, this is one of our favorite shows right now. Along with, we're watching Raised by Wolves, which I know is your favorite show too, in a way.
Hey, nah, I don't know if it's my favorite show. I just get it. I get it. I'm cool with it.
And I'm starting to feel it, like I said, and we'll be back with we still owe you more Raised. So stay tuned to the channel. We'll give you more Raised reviews, but let's hit up episode 3, Tuesday's Child, my man. And boy, was this episode a doozy. And it kicks off right from the start with my girl Jessica Hyde being her wild self, pointing the gun at our peoples, and just bro, what is she doing, bro? What is she doing?
I mean, there's no love lost. I mean, that's the epitome of someone who's like super in control. It's just like, nah, like I'm not taking any L's, I'm not taking any losses. Y'all gonna watch me pee out here, and y'all just gonna deal with it. And I feel like that's also very jarring for the people who are being held captive. Like, I gotta watch her pee. Like, you know what I mean? That's ferocious. You don't see a lot of people pee. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
But what it does is it takes, when if you pee or you're pooping or whatever, that's usually you at your weakest. You know what I'm saying? Like it's at your weakest moment. But we showed that it almost shows that she has no weak moments. Like there's no moments where she's going to let herself be weak and overtaken. Like she is in total control of her world. And I thought it was a really dope scene to like show that, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like how much of an in control person she is.
I love it. And you don't really see females getting the opportunity to show that kind of strength. And
or that type of accuracy, because she was standing up, like aiming that thing. That's crazy.
Wow, I love it. Yeah, so great scene. Love the opener. From there, we transition to before we transition from that, what we hear in that scene is there's some other things they need to check out. There's a funeral they need to go to, but it isn't the funeral for the dead body of the friend they have lying on the floor right there.
Right.
It's for some other people that she needs to check out. And
it's for some of the people who had died at the hotel, namely the female, the girlfriend. I forget what her name was, who had died at the hotel. I think it's her, because that's who they were like, oh, we got to go see the grant. Like, they might have a lead on. We have no leads, so they might have a lead on where we can find this book. And that's what ends up happening. It ends up being a great lead for where they can find Utopia.
Yeah, so they get there and they find out that the comic was created at a mental asylum. Makes sense. And another great piece in this whole sequence that I was just wow. Again, it made more reason why I love the show. Earlier in the earlier episodes, we get the two kind of killer combination, but then one of them dies. In that one sequence where they blinded our Wilson character. So we lost the buddy to Arby, I think is the other deranged character that survived and, made it and, did his thing. But we get these two crazy, weird Children of the Corn characters. And I just love that weird awkwardness. I think it's just great casting, and it's just the kind of visuals as a writer in this kind of a theme type of a story that was cool. They quickly bite the dust because you can't fuck with Jessica Hyde.
It's just weird. Like all the henchmen who are coming after this book are kind of have the same motif as some weird, awkward, kind of children of the corny type white dudes who are coming after this thing. So, that was odd. And then they come after there. First of all, Becky gets shown to be really smart in terms of how she gets information out of the situation while Jessica's kind of stuffing her pockets and getting fed. And then coming back to save the day when those two dudes, who's it, Wilson and what's the other guy's name, the
Ian.
dude, Ian, they're totally inept. They're just screaming like and then she comes and murks them. It's super bloody. Like this show is super bloody, super gory.
Yeah.
And it's just every episode is just opening up with it's like a lot. So but it was kind of cool. Once again, you kind of see the dynamic and slowly people start kind of bonding together. And you almost get the feeling that Becky is just like, yo, this is what it is. Like, I got to be real hard. And she kind of is gravitating and understanding Jessica Hyde. And then Wilson and Ian are just kind of like, chatting, and they're kind of bonding and coming into their own, being friends or whatever. Yep. So I thought that was cool. And then, of course, you're always going to bond over, an attempted assassination on your life.
And you're exactly right. And that's what takes us from that scene at the funeral back at Olivia's grandfather's house. Jessica learns that at the asylum, her father was burnt up. And so she goes to hide under the sink. So that was a very powerful scene. And then again, like you were saying with Becky, we get the reveal that she's apparently dying from a disease, which we got that in, I would say, the first episode, because she was having that weird twitching right before she went to the convention. And so I was wondering if we were going to fall back to that. And so this explains and gives us a little bit more details on that. What did you think about the scene at the grandfather's house?
I mean, I thought it was kind of cool because it's like, you kind of get it almost it gives another layer to Becky where you understand that she gets the stakes of like life and death, and that's how she, I guess, kind of rationalizes like going along more with Jessica Hyde. So that was pretty cool. I really like that.
All right.
Yeah, and then the other thing, who was the fact that Jessica, her dad, like pass away, and then so you go from the scene of her being super like on top of it, and then you get to see vulnerability. So that was kind of cool. But it's like hiding under the sink, and then everyone's just like what should we do? And it's kind of cool that everyone's just like, well, they just kind of go along with it, like instead of being like, shit, she's under the sink, we could get her. They're just like, now we're like, we understand, like she kind of got it. And I think they're really doing a good job of kind of fleshing out all these characters who have different motivations and different, mannerisms and characteristics. You're really getting to see a full picture here with all these characters. A lot of great character development. I love it.
Totally. Yeah, this was a great character development episode. And like you're saying, I love that transition. We did see from the hardcore to the softer side of Jessica. And there was one in particular scene that I really liked with Becky and Jessica when they're in the car. Jessica was kind of like hunched in the back seat, and Becky tried to reach out and thought about it, but then she pulled back. So it was just that kind of, Becky finally, we're seeing that transition in her character and accepting this situation, and that, she's realizing that Jessica really is a key to this in order of figuring all of this out. And then also the key for herself to cure her disease. So really great character development in those first couple of scenes. Next scene,
I have to drink my wine because this is it's like this is like it's getting deep, man. It's getting deep.
Loving it. I'm loving this show, man. The next scene is where the FBI raids the lab. We're at Kevin Christie's lab, and we have the government coming in because there's kids dying, literally kids dying from this meat, or supposedly from this meat, and so they want to go inspect everything, and they shut it down. And so very interesting character. We're learning a little bit more about that. And from there, we get introduced to, I believe it's the actor's name is Rainn Wilson. He's from The Office. Was this the guy?
Yeah.
So Michael Stearns, apparently he developed a cure.
Right shroot.
Real quick stop. I really didn't watch Office, so I'm not very familiar with the actor. I've seen him in some other things, so I don't know him from comedy, but I will say he's a great dramatic actor. I love him in this.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
curious.
he's really good. He was super funny in that, and he's really good in this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, not knowing his
wait, are you
stuff,
picking it up again?
I'm gonna have to check out The Office at some point. But this character is pretty interesting. I'm curious where they're gonna go with him. What did you think about what were your thoughts on this new introduction of this character?
It was kind of cool to see him like go through the whole thing and figure out like, oh shoot, he like kind of, you know, has his like epiphany, and then he goes through like you know, figuring out like, oh man, like I got a cure. And I don't know, it's just kind of cool seeing a scientist come up with a discovery for their new thing. But you get to see all the players from the other side, not the Utopia side, from the side of these vaccine or these viruses that are actually happening. And then you get to see, because I think before you were talking about whether John Cusack's character was going to be bad or good or whatever, and we're starting to see more of it. It's a little bit, he's starting to lean towards you know, the villainous ways a little bit. But when the FBI is raiding, you kind of feel for him. It's like, yo, don't stop, don't shut things down. It's not our fault. And you know, it's just that was a pretty interesting scene, and I'm kind of interested to see where it's going. Like, is the meat actually making them sick?
Totally. And before, and you know, and we won't give away the end yet, but yeah, seeing from this family loving guy with his adopted children in this last episode, and to then, you know, here comes the FBI raid, and we have this new character of Michael Stearns. And what I really enjoyed about Michael Stearns, he stood by his convictions. He did find this vaccine, this cure, but it still needed testing, and Kevin still tried to push it. So he stood his ground. So that's a whole setup, you know, for that interesting dynamic later. But a really good scene in that respect. From there, we then go back to our cast of characters of Wilson, Ian, and Jessica, and they go looking for Grant, because Grant has the comic, and they get a lead, and Becky and Wilson. Oh, actually, hold up. Becky and Wilson stay while Ian and Jessica go to track down Artemis.
Right. Because so we don't know who Artemis is or whatever. And then Becky and Wilson, they're trying to well, they stay behind, and then they get a lead on Grant, which is kind of interesting. And then they go chase him out. So again, you get this kind of meshing of the different characters. Mm-hmm. So before you had, you know, Becky and Jessica kind of bonding, Wilson and Ian kind of bonding, and now you switch it up and you get the Jessica and Ian bonding, and the Becky and the Wilson. So it's kind of cool seeing how these characters are meshing there. I really was interested, or I liked Wilson and Ian. I'm sorry, Ian and Jessica, as they went off to search for Artemis, and he's still trying to feel his way around his new reality, which is a whole bunch of like what the fuck.
So let's tackle that. Ian and Jessica are looking for Artemis. As they're going to Chicago, Ian just kind of like, you know, I need to just take a piss real quick. You made me watch you piss, and you killed all my friends, and let me just get a piss for a minute. And then he ends up pissing on Artemis, and then Artemis clocks him. And so let's talk about this Artemis introduction. Apparently Artemis has connections to her to Jessica's father. And we have a whole crazy fight scene that occurs there. Why don't you talk about that Glenn?
I just like the metaphor, you know, like Jessica has been pushing them around or whatever, and Ian's like, I'm tired of it, I'm gonna stand up for myself. But really, in her pushing around, she was keeping them safe. And then it's just so kind of symbolic of like, he goes off, does his own thing, he goes pees on this big hulking character, which we don't know. It ends up being Artemis, but we don't know at the time. And it's just like, yo, like, had you listened, you probably wouldn't have got knocked out. And I felt like every time he gets punched or something, it's just really funny. Like his like sound effects when he gets hit, it's like, oh.
I can't lie, I do enjoy his ass, because he's kind of like a little bitch ass character for me. Like he hasn't been. You thought he was down with the whole thing, but really he was kind of like a fake nerd at the convention.
Yeah.
And, you know, he just was.
Who hasn't faked a little nerdum for some strange? You know what I'm saying? Like that's I feel you. I feel you, Ian, bro. But
So yeah, very interesting. What did you think of Jessica peeling off the nails and the secret coded
again, man? This is it's a wild it's a wild show. The whole fight scene between them was, you know, kind of great. And even Artemis's last words are like kind of go hard. You know, it's like people who have kind of resigned themselves to what this, you know, crazy life is, especially with living in, you know, the homeless shelters and all that to try to avoid detection and all that good stuff. It's good, man. I really enjoyed the interaction there. Ian being knocked out for most of it was kind of interesting, and then, you know, to see her have to peel off the fingertips, which is that's a crazy painful. I don't know. I feel like I would feel pain trying to pick off someone else's fingertip, but I guess, you know, that's the level of desensitization that Jessica has currently. So that was a cool little scene there. And then, you know, by the end of it, they get their new lead, and then they head back, which, you know, during that time, Wilson and Becky have gone off to search for little Grant, and then we get to see how like ingenuitive Becky is.
Yeah, but before that, before they did that, I want to go to a particular part at the house when they're waiting and doing their search before they got the chat room thing from Grant, which then led them to go on that. How they were just sitting there, where that character building that you were talking about, is they're sitting there at the table, and they kept on looking off to the side and seeing their friend that was dead. And then we had Wilson, who put like this cereal box cutout for his eye patch. And then Becky had to stare at that whole time. And then they got the idea to then use one of the drapes and then cover up the body. I just thought that was, you know, because you had this body sitting there the entire time. What are you going to do about it? It's your friend. And then just that whole kind of way to talk on that as part of that whole scene, I just think was great writing. You know, he put
and then especially like the realization that they're in a very like dangerous, crazy thing. And, you know, like their friend was just basically a casualty of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that was all interesting and very enjoyable to watch, to tell you the truth. So it was kind of cool. And then also, you know, that whole not montage moment, but that epiphany moment where they're like, oh, Thomas, what was it? Thomas Jefferson or Thomas Washington, like museum or whatever it was. So they end up figuring it out and then going. But I just, like you said, it's really cool character development, how they bring that all together and figure it out, and then they're off on another adventure. And then of course traffic, because traffic always sucks.
And again, just to continue that great writing. So they're in traffic. Becky jumps out the car, and he's the guy with the eye patch. Like, yo, he can't go nowhere. Well, they couldn't go nowhere because they were in bad traffic, but you leave the guy with the patch in the car. It was just, I thought it was a hilarious
It's like,
moment.
Wait, can he see yet even?
So just good stuff. And we get those characters finally meeting Grant, and a very cool scene that I thought was very smart. Again, good writing. You have a kid just all by himself. A cop is like looking over, what is this kid doing?
Although he didn't look that young. You know what I mean? He looked like 10 or 12. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't look like, oh, where are your parents at? Like, and it's what is this, Chicago? Get out of here. Like, the cops aren't bothering some little 10-year-old with the backpack. You know what I'm saying? Although he might have been in the wrong neighborhood. That might have been why the cop was like, yo, what are you doing here?
Well, let's say if it was a white kid with a white cop, if it was a black kid, you know that he would have gotten that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Business. I just think he probably would have ignored him. You know what I mean? Because it's like, he doesn't seem like he's in danger.
The white cop?
Yeah, I mean, he might have harassed him, but I mean, there was a lot of other things happening on the street. It was like a busy street, so that's why I was like, it's kind of weird because it's like a busy street. Like, why would he take the time of like, you kid with the back? Like, if a kid got a backpack on, it looks like he's going somewhere. It looks like he's going to school or, you know, whatever. But you know, Grant was cool about it. Was like about to go with him until Becky's like, "Oh my goodness, there you are!" And he's like, "Mommy." Did he say mommy or something like that? Or
something like that. He went with it. They were both on time with it. But what I thought was very interesting at that very end part, as we know, there was a kid who's been out on his own. And he seems like he really hasn't, his parents ain't looking for him, and he's, escaped or whatever.
Yeah.
But there was just there was a tender moment, after he finally got her away, and they were just standing there in the kind of like the corner that Grant gave her a hug. So I thought that was a good tender moment, and
it was.
I'm curious from that point, where that's going to go from there.
Yeah, but you get to see them kind of bonding, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So, and then our group gets back together. They reconvene at the OK Corral.
Yeah. So that was very interesting. And that whole interplay with Jessica and the little kid and them fighting back and forth, and then the comic book, and just again, we got a lot of character development occurring in this episode. However, to finish it off, we are now back at Kevin Christie's office, and here's where we finally get to see that the villain is he the rabbit? Is the rabbit the bad guy? Where Arby, the character that was, with the other assassin that was killed,
the guy who wears the high waters.
Yes,
he's got the high water pants, and he loves, what is it, Tic Tacs or what is it, Pez? what does he feed him?
Yeah, just very raisins.
The box of raisins. That's right. Yeah. So I guess the kid loves
of raisins. He was
and
prepared.
He like throws them the raisins, because at first you're like, oh, is he about to kill this dude for, pages or something like that? And then it's like, oh no, this is like my little kid. And then they kind of have their little powwow, which again, character development, you're seeing how people are kind of relating to each other. And then you get the ideas like, ooh, is this Mr. Rabbit? Like what's really going on? So which we know a great Kevin place Christie to leave the show. I think that, or leave that episode.
Yeah. Kevin Christie right there with the raisins. And so is he the rabbit? Is he not? So we get that big reveal at the end. Another great episode for me, bro. How about you?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm really interested to see where it's going. I mean, it's setting up a lot of things right now, and I just think they're going to pay off. Just the way the characters are kind of co-mingling. It's going to be really interesting to see how they interact and where they all end up.
All right. So. I love it. Can't wait for the next episode. We'll have Loy hopefully joining us with our episode 4 review.
Yeah.
Before we sign off, Glenn, why don't you tell them how they can find you on the socials and anything else?
levelupcomedy.com. Also Level Up Comedy on all your socials, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. Or Glenn Lawrence Comedy on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook if you want to check me out there. Also doing my Fantasy Wife podcast every Wednesday, and you can see me here with the NRW weekly, giving you reviews for all kinds of crazy stuff.
I love it. So make sure y'all do that so you can level up. I am Kuyapi, aka Patrick Michael Strange. You can find me at Temple Far East and at Strange since 1977. One of those is Twitter, one of those is IG. I don't know because I'm old. You can also find me at the Nerds of Color and here at the NRW. And also my brand new show. We've launched 3 episodes already. Three episodes. Because I was challenged by Loy to get it done by the end of the month with at least 1 episode. I gave y'all 3, and I'm actually going to give y'all 4 by the time this comes out. Because I have 4. I just, you know what? Fuck it. Someone going to challenge me. I'm going to give it to y'all. Show Pal Show. It's a show about Filipino history and culture and the movers and shakers within it. We cover all entertainment of that representation that's out there. It's something that's been a dream project because I'm very proud of my culture, very proud of my people. Even if you're not Filipino and you want to learn about us, it's for y'all. This is just a celebration of a love of being who you are. And I hope y'all enjoy it. Thank y'all for joining me and my boy Glenn.
Y'all will enjoy it. There's no hope. Y'all will enjoy it, man.
Thank you, brother.
Love this dude.
Love you too, bro. All right, me and my boy are out of here. Until next time, deuces.
See you in Utopia.
Yeah.
Well, it's the NOC in full color, you see me? The hard knock life, comics, movies, and TV, yeah.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yo, we are back. I am Kuya P. This is the NRW, where we always give you the NEW nerds rule the world. Let me
Nerds.
All right, here we go. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Yo, what's going on? We are back. We are the NRW, where we give you blah 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 blah. All right, here we go. This is it. Take 3.